Hello and welcome to Hear Me, See Me podcast. I'm Stuart, and today I've got two wonderful young people who I've met on the internet, and I've used some of their products, and I need everyone to go out and find out about these products because it's an amazing initiative. I've got Tommie and Rebecca from BambuuBrush. How you doing?
Hello. Good afternoon. Good to be on with you.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I've been using the brush.
Love
Have
it.
your teeth look
Good to
nice and
hear.
white?
It's a filter. Now, I love what you're doing. I absolutely love it. We've got a common cause as well that we'll talk about after. But firstly, tell me all about the journey of BambuuBrush. What inspired you?
Yeah, massively. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, so
Where do we start?
where do we start?
At
So
the beginning.
our background was actually we lived in both of us lived abroad and lived around the world for probably quite a considerable amount of time.
I think, for me it's been 10 years working and living. We say traveling, but it wasn't just traveling. Lucky enough to work and travel. Well, for myself, it's 10 years. I moved to Thailand. Well, first of all, I did a gap year when I first finished school. All I wanted to do was travel. So traveled the world for a year, fell in love with it. After then, I knew I needed to live outside of the UK. So I moved to Thailand for 3 years, worked there, lived there. Then after there, I moved to Australia, where I was sponsored for 4 years. And that's where I met Tommie.
And my background's a little bit different. I always wanted to be in teaching. So I've always, all my family, well, my mum and my sister are teachers, always wanted to be a PE teacher. Went to university, came out of uni, went into the education system, worked for about 2 years, then did a typical 3-month trip to Asia to find myself. I did just a trip to, quite similar to Rebecca. I went to Asia, went through Southeast Asia to Australia, came back to the UK.
Yeah.
And I think my mind had just been completely opened. Without a shadow of a doubt. I think I was very set on my opinions and very set on what I wanted to do. And then traveling just, especially in the developing world, in Asia, it kind of just breaks down all of those barriers, and it breaks down anything that you previously thought was right and wrong. And suddenly you're open to all of these new experiences and new people and new cultures and
it's just amazing.
Just everything. And that's kind of where everything started. So yeah, Rebecca was 10 years. For myself, it was about 7 years, which we were very lucky.
So lucky.
Yeah. And so we met in Australia, and then we decided to, that was a whole nother story in itself. But we met in Australia, and then I had to leave because my visa, went away, came back, went onto Rebecca's visa. Then Rebecca got made redundant, and then we moved back to Asia, and that's kind of where
there was a lot of places that I visited that I wanted to show Tommie, vice versa. So we wanted to go out and travel and continue traveling.
Stuart, have you been to Asia at all?
Yeah. Where was you based there? Where was you? I know that you've been all around, but where was you based?
We weren't really based. So we started when we moved back to Asia, what we started to do is work with a lot of travel companies. So we were doing a lot of the travel companies and tourism boards. The routes were quite similar, so we'd end up going to similar places, whether it was 6 months, a year, 2 years further down the road. So we went throughout. I went to India, Thailand, Bali, Philippines.
Stunning.
Yeah. Sri Lanka was amazing.
Where have you been?
Where have you been?
I went to Hong Kong, Bangkok, Pattaya.
Yeah.
He says smiling. Pattaya, Samui, Koh Samui, and then over to Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City.
Oh wow!
And then I can never remember the name of it, but then a little place by the coast that was probably about half an hour away from there, I think. I'm not sure. But what I found is, and you're probably the same, once you get past the initial obvious things of that, when you go Pattaya and all these places, there's obviously like the sex trade and all these things going on that people know it for. But once you get past that veneer, you get the true spirit of the place.
Oh, definitely.
And you get the most beautiful people, the most wonderful food, the most glorious countryside, fantastic beaches. And it's just, you know, even if you're not even, for people who are not even religious, like when you go to a temple, you cannot help but be moved by these places and the people in them, you know.
Like you said, it doesn't matter if you're religious or you believe in anything like that. It's seriously impressive.
It's so interesting as well,
and it connects you in so many ways.
And I know what you mean, especially if you first go to traveling. One of the first stops is Bangkok, and Bangkok is just like wow,
pure intensity.
You either love it or you hate it, but it's just brilliant. Once you get past that culture shock, and it's just so different to how we live. And that's
and I think that's where everything, well, especially for me personally, I like I said, I knew what I wanted to do. I was very competent in my own thoughts and my pathway in life. And then you go to Asia and you experience just the generosity of people who have barely anything, and they'll give you everything. And they're so hospitable and so generous that it's just completely changes anything that you've experienced or we've been brought up with, especially in the West. And I mean, the UK is quite, I wouldn't open-minded in some respects, but it just completely broke all the barriers down.
Yeah, it was. What I found as well, what really impressed me was sometimes you'd find someone who may be a street cleaner or a hotel cleaner or something, but they had such pride in their work and so proud of their job, you know, and that's what I think sometimes is that we could learn from is what you're doing is to have pride in it, do it the best of your ability, and you know it really come across. And another thing as well was I think my boy came at me at one point and there was a picture of the king. And you know, and he just said, "Oh, who's that?" And then the person behind the reception went, "Oh, that's my king." And it was that's my king. You know, that the love and the proudness, you know, the pride in that.
We went to the cinema once in Thailand, and at the start everyone stood up, and I was like, "What's going on?" I'm not used to it. But
I mean, it's like a deeper level of connection with them, don't they? It's like a real pride.
It's respect, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, so going back to our story, so as I said, we were very lucky that we went to a lot of these beautiful places, and our roles was in social media. So we worked with tourism boards, hotel chains, travel companies about promoting travel.
Yeah.
And that was it. But what we started to see was, I guess, especially from Rebecca's point, we were going back to places. Like Rebecca took me to a place she went in 2012, and we went back in 2017 or 2018. So 6 years difference. And what we started to see was the build-up of plastic pollution. So the oceans were there was more and more plastic, more and more. You'd be there in an absolutely beautiful sunset, and you're taking this photo for social media. And we started to feel a bit fraudulent because, okay, on the right was stunning, but on the left, there's just piles and piles of plastic. Yeah. And that became somewhat the norm, I think. Well, it was, 100% the norm. And that's kind of where our world of sustainability and what we're doing now kind of ignited. And I mean, there was a few instances which stick in our mind. One in which we were in a place in the Philippines, which was beautiful. It's a place called Mobile. David Attenborough's been there. It's one of the only places in the world that you have these armies of sardines. I don't know if you've ever seen them, and they all go in the same direction. They're incredible, absolutely incredible. And the reason they're there is because it's high in nutrients, and then there's a good Gulf Stream that goes through past the island. And with that brings jellyfish. With the jellyfish brings turtles, because turtles eat the jellyfish. So we're there, we went out swimming. I got a drone, I put my drone up, and suddenly I've got 2 turtles on my screen. I'm like, oh my God, like this is like gold dust. But then what ended up happening, it went from high to low real quickly, is that I've got these turtles on my screen, and then suddenly just a load of plastic came into the screen. and one of the turtles went to eat one of the plastic bags, and that was like a really
hit home.
Yeah, I mean, it did hit home, but not massively. But it was just like a very eye-opening, direct correlation between the impact that we are having on our natural environment and its inhabitants. So, and then I guess it kind of just got the ball rolling into what we wanted to do. We started to become more aware of the issues. We started to be a bit more focused around the companies we were working with. We started to be a bit more focused around the issues that we were talking about when we were working with these travel companies and hotel chains. And I guess, that's where everything that's where our story starts.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess that one thing that was quite poignant was quite noticeable was plastic wasn't just impacting the environment, but how it was impacting everyday people in these developing communities. People in developing countries, they don't really have a waste disposal system. So like we have the bin men come and collect our plastic and our waste. People discard that into the environment. So suddenly they're living in their own waste, which causes issues on so many levels anyway. But as soon as you go into look into some of the research shows that us in the West, we end up, once we hit our quota, we ship all our plastic and our waste out to the developing countries. So it's just like, from that's kind of where everything properly started, and we were like, what can we do?
We needed to do something.
You can't even, when someone actually stops and tells you that, like, even though, it goes on, but when you stop and listen to it, you think, that's just vile, isn't it?
I just don't.
Pull out plastic and throw it over there.
Yeah, we have over here in the UK and in the USA, not in European countries, we've got the money to deal with our plastic. We've got the machinery to deal with our plastic. We've got the infrastructure to deal with it all. We've got the systems in place. But let's ship it over to countries who don't have the money. They don't have the systems. They don't have the machinery to deal with it. So, oh wait, there is so much plastic and waste going out into the environment. Morally, I can't quite put two and two together. I don't know how that works.
Videos in Malaysia, and there's just bright orange Sainsbury's bags, plastic bags everywhere. It's just an absolute joke.
Yeah. I was just remembered something. One of my favourite things I ever saw was it's a good story of recycling. It's a lot of because we get through so many clothes. I think clothes is another thing that's we buy cheap stuff, throw it away. Most stuff's not even worn, and it all ends up in landfill and all that stuff. But a lot of it finds its way to sort of African countries and things like that. And I'll never forget, I saw an African woman walking on the beach, and it said something like Cindy's hen party. So this T-shirt had gone. I imagine a load of girls in Blackpool on Cindy's hen party had all got these T-shirts, and it ended up on an African beach on this woman. And I thought, at least there's been a use to it. But what you're saying is,
I mean, it's the fashion industry is a whole nother.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start with that.
No.
I wouldn't know where to start with that.
Even us with Haircuts for Homeless, when we done our T-shirts, I was initially just thinking, because it's an awakening, isn't it? You're not going to know. And I find it's a similar thing that people of my generation had no, like, I'm a granddad and you guys are younger. And it's like the young are teaching the old how to think better and more morally and think about things a bit more, which is great, I think, because we didn't really have any of that thought. And it's a gradual process of us being enlightened. And, setting up the charity was just trying to get things where I could easily. And, so Vistaprint, get the T-shirts done, it's easy to do it all in one place. But then someone opened my eyes to it, and then we started getting our T-shirts from Fifth Column, who printed them for free for us, sourced from Interdental Clothing. They sourced T-shirts from, they still use those places, because the thing what they said is, if you then take it away from somewhere in India, that might be the only sort of source of money coming in for that particular area.
Yeah.
So if you just take it away, so we're going to make it in England, then they lose their income. But what they do is they put 10 pence per item. So if you buy 100 T-shirts, 110 pences go to the wages.
Nice.
So just by everyone adding 10p to their bill, it doubles their monthly wage.
Crazy.
So they've still got work, but it's more as it should be. And it's that thing, and not what's convenient, but and it's so much more rewarding. And in the end, the T-shirts were cheaper.
Yeah.
You know, like, so
it's that. It's just being. I think one thing that we're. It's just awareness. It's just simple awareness,
and it's just understanding the journey, which a lot of us, we don't know what happens of how this T-shirt's made and how it's got here. Whereas we think it's really, really important that we're very transparent about where all our products are from and how it's made and where it's made, and showing everybody the journey.
It's that transparency, and I think the world of sustainability, unfortunately, there's a lot of negativity, and you get, and I don't mean this disrespectful for anyone listening, but you get your proper tree huggers, proper vegans who are fighting the fight, and they need to push the boundaries and what needs to be said, but there's a very negative aspect on anyone who's trying to do good and not doing it properly. And I think that's where there's no bridge yet, because it puts someone off. If there's negativity around you trying to be sustainable, or you trying to cut out your plastic consumption, and someone bashes you down because you didn't do it properly, just switches people off. And that's where
encouraging.
No, I think that's where what needs to be tackled, because unfortunately there is a lot out there. I mean, we get it all the time.
Yeah.
Everyone's a critic, aren't they?
Yeah.
Everyone's a critic. You get you're just doing your best, and sometimes, and then all of a sudden someone comes up with something, you think, really? Is that? We've done the National Lottery advert, and that's how we got a big lot of, like when we was on TV doing that, and I had this. My Instagram lit up, as you can imagine, it went around the world almost. And then we had all these, and then you scroll down, and it's fantastic, love what you're doing. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not looking at them. And all of a sudden, there's bloke put on there, good haircut, good advert, shit haircuts. And that got me then. And I'm looking at that, and I'm thinking about it, and I must have had about 200 lovely messages. And who do I go to bed with that night? Him. You cannot do it.
It's tricky. It's so tricky. But I mean, the whole world of sustainability is something new at the moment, and I think it's our role we're certainly not experts in any way, shape, or form, but we want to try and relate to your everyday person. Like, our big mission, our big slogan is one simple change. So it's how can we get one person to make their first step on this ladder of sustainability and their journey. So that's our big push.
Yeah, I think it's so crucial. I had a lady on this morning, and Dulcie Shepherd and she runs the 52 project, and what they do is she works with a neuroscientist, and it's like one good idea, simple idea. She wrote a book called "It's Not Bloody Rocket Science." So the idea is it doesn't have to be complicated.
No.
So every week they do something that's a simple version. Like we talked about the power of cold water. So you can be like a Wim Hof, the guy who does the ice. If you try to spice me in, you're not probably going to do it, because you can't go and stand in the snow for 4 hours or something. Yeah. But what she says is you can have a warm shower, and then you just turn it on cold for 30 seconds.
Perfect.
You just get, and it's those type of things that and I think that's the important thing, like, is what you're saying is it's not all or nothing. It's never all or nothing. There are myriads of stages in between, and that one stage, that one small change, an old dinosaur like me started to be around people like that and thought, oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't do everything, but then, and I'll tell you my favourite product of yours. I'm a big fan, by the way. My favourite product of yours, I call them earbuds, but they're the cotton buds.
Cotton buds.
You're not supposed to use them in your ear, but everyone does. And, the bamboo cotton bud. What an amazing, simple idea.
Yeah.
And I love the box they come in.
Yeah.
It's a really cool box, which is important. I was happy about that. They tell you it's all about the box. But those that like that, it's just it's wood.
Yeah.
You cannot, and no one can argue with it, can they? These bloody
What I love about that one is,
noses.
yeah, what I love about that one is the fact that the whole thing can just be put in the compost.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to use them, but it's 100% natural.
Even the packaging.
Even the packaging, all of it can just go in the compost, and it'll go back to its natural element. So it's it's just keeping it simple. I mean,
definitely.
There's too many experts in the world, and we're certainly not one of them. So just keep it simple. Don't try and overcomplicate anything.
I think that's true, and it's the important thing is to be authentic. I'm always saying I'm the last, but don't ask me anything. But I'll tell you what I think. But it's not what And that's the thing. That the minute you open yourself up to scrutiny, then if you profess to be, and if you don't know it, you can learn it.
Yeah.
Or you can ask someone who does know. The important thing in him, but the important message is what drives you, the why.
Definitely. And from the get-go, from the day we've launched, we've always put our hands up and said we're no experts. And we've always been so transparent from the very day we've launched. Yeah,
massively.
So what's the, where did it come into that we've both got these, we are all human here.
We are all human here.
I can't, mine's stuck.
Nice.
We are all human. We arranged to wear the T-shirts, didn't we? It's really funny. I just had a little break because I've done this my third one today, and I just had a little break. And I went and sat in the garden and took my T-shirt off, and I come back in and I just sat down. I hadn't put my T-shirt back on, so I'm sitting here with my neck boots and a red chest, and I was thinking, oh my God, I quickly run for my T-shirt before you got on. But enough of that. Where did you link come to joining Humanitas or supporting them?
So right from the start, I think it goes back to our traveling, in the fact that we always felt that if we were in a position to be able to start a business, we needed to give back. So I think that was very natural in the fact that we've experienced such hospitality with people in the developing world, and there's just that natural. So that's where everything started. And about 2 months into launching the business with our toothbrushes, we were doing a market stall in Hitchin, in our small town, and we randomly bumped into Sarah and Ramiz, who are the founders of Humanitas, and then, well,
the rest was history.
The rest was history, yeah. I mean, that was literally it. That's how it all started. So then we started working with them. We started donating toothbrushes initially to all of the children in their care. So they've got a school out in Ghana. They've got the orphanages in Romania. So that was how it all started. And then we've always had this mission to be able to set up simple recycling facilities. So going back again to our travels, where you have these communities that cannot deal with their own plastic. We've always wanted to be able to set up essentially a system where you can exchange that plastic for products, and then we can reuse that plastic to create products. And we started discussing this with Humanitas, and now we've launched the first project in Ghana called Plastic Swap Shop. So we're just currently about to start funding for that. We haven't actually released that publicly yet, but anyway.
This is going out in a couple of weeks. I saw that you got an announcement, and I thought I'll be able to get that out of them because this is going out in a couple of weeks, so that's fine.
Oh, that's actually a different announcement.
Oh, is it?
But yeah, anyway, so
we'll
tell you that after, yeah.
Yeah.
We're worse at telling secrets.
Yeah, it's like,
don't tell me nothing, I'll tell everyone.
Yeah, I'm with you. But anyway, so we've been working with Humanitas for about 2.5 years now.
We've been out to Ghana as well.
Been out to Ghana, and last year they launched this campaign, We're All Human Here.
Yeah.
See, and I think it's just an incredible message. I mean,
no matter our differences, we're all the same.
Yeah, and it's more important every day. I think you look at all of the stuff around social media. You look at the football last week with all the racism that went on.
Yeah.
It was after the boys missed the penalties. I mean, it's just a simple slogan of we're all human here. We are, essentially. It can go from any walk of life, and I think it's such an incredible campaign. So it's great to have you and your team involved, and
yeah,
we're very proud of it.
I think
I'll go out and buy a T-shirt because it all goes directly to Humanitas.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember, because my brain ain't what it used to be, but I think I told it was Sarah or someone who I was speaking to from Humanitas. They were about to do that campaign, and I think I told her the story about the T-shirts, and I think our guy is actually the one who they get the T-shirts from.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I think yeah. I vaguely remember. She said, "Oh, can you put him in touch?" And I think I did. So I think they I think they are. That's just how this thing works, isn't it? How things go around. It was like spreading the love. But
should we tell you the other secret?
Yeah, go on, Nick.
Yeah. So we're not releasing this until Thursday.
Yeah, this will be 2 weeks, so you're fine. Go on then.
When we first launched at BambuuBrush, we just had one product. So we just had a bamboo toothbrush. And it was just us two, and we had a crazy goal of #1 million by 2020.
Yeah.
So effectively, we wanted to educate and inspire 1 million people to make a simple change from a plastic toothbrush to a bamboo toothbrush by the turn of the next decade. So we had 9 months to do that in. Everyone thought we were crazy, like absolutely mental. We got our T-shirts branded. We had it all over our product, so there was no turning back. Yeah. What was it your dad said? How many did you have to...
He's like, Tom, you know that you've got to sell 3,000 toothbrushes a day?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's always someone who gives you the reality check, isn't there?
I was like, oh, yeah. But we were doing it from my mum and dad, my bedroom at my mum and dad's house. That's where it all started. So dad's like, what, you want to sell 1 million toothbrushes? We were like, yeah.
We can.
But we're very proud that after 9 months we hit that goal. So we sold 1 million toothbrushes.
And then when we hit that goal, we were like, oh well, we need to set another goal. So we set one. We wanted which isn't, we could do that, but that's not what we're about to tell you. The second one was we wanted every Olympian to have a bamboo toothbrush at the Tokyo Olympics in 2020.
Oh, right.
So this is the announcement. So every athlete will have one of these in their kit bags.
Brilliant.
Yes, we're official partners with Team GB at the Olympics. So
fantastic. Well done. Well done.
Yeah,
thank you. You really do deserve it.
Thank you. We're very proud.
That's fantastic. Because I saw the thing you put the other day as well, that it's on, you got it on Virgin, haven't you?
Yeah, so we got it on Virgin. Yeah, so the first bamboo toothbrush in the skies with a contract with Virgin Atlantic, which was pretty. We're again. Oh, here's the bag. This is the bag that comes in. This is the Virgin kit, and you get a little baby toothbrush.
So hopefully we can get one to Richard Branson to go up in space, and that'll be
First bamboo toothbrush in space.
Oh, that's
aspirations, isn't you?
That sounds good.
I'll tell you what, I never thought I'd be a toothbrush salesman as I was
it's so much more than that, though, isn't it? It's a bit like with us, you know. It's not an haircut. It's way different than an haircut. It symbolises, and it's the the communication and the empathy and all the stuff that go respect. So it's all about that. And yours is so much more than that, isn't it? It's about saving.
How's everything, Stuart? How's everything been since? Have you been with COVID? What is it been okay, or is it you've been able to get back out there now? Or
it was really tough. You know, like the first of the lockdown, March last year. It was like overnight, it just stopped, and we was on we'd hit such a good trajectory, and it also just dropped. You know. We was on target. We had a documentary made about us. That was going to be released. We had a premiere at Soho House and all the Soho houses, and then it just didn't happen, you know. And we'd hit 67 projects across the UK. We'd got 600 volunteers, and so far we'd given 40,000 haircuts. So we really was at a high, and then it went to nothing. And I didn't realise how much of my like, because I'm 15 years sober, so that a lot of me helping other people helps me to stay right.
Yeah.
And so that was taken away. So I didn't realise how much I needed it, you know. And a lot of my volunteers are the same. But what we, you know, thank God, April we went out again, and we've already got up to about 30 relaunched.
Wow.
Got loads of. We've lost some volunteers because their circumstances have changed, but we've got new ones coming all the time.
Yeah.
We've lost a few centres, but we've got new ones starting. So I think by the end of this year, we'll be back on track to where we were last March. And then next year, we can move way forward and spread across the UK even more.
Amazing.
But funding was hard. You know, we've had a long reputation, relationship. I apologise. A long relationship with the lottery. Unfortunately, we didn't get our funding renewed, so that's left a big hole in our budget. And what happens is then there's not much about, you know, like for small charities. So we'll get there. It's, you know, I'm under no, you know, I know we'll get there. We've got a great sponsor in L'Oreal. We've got a great sponsor in Zenoti, which is an American software company. And we probably need 2 more of those. And they'll come, you know, they'll come from somewhere. And the great thing is once you're a registered charity, big companies can then sort of almost claim that all back against their expenses. So it's a good deal for them because they can, generally they do it because they want to. I don't think it's just a monetary thing.
No.
Definitely on the case of the 2 that we've got, I mean, the support they give over and above the money, which is important, is really good. You know, they're there for you. And that's the type of sponsors small charities need. They need more than just a check. They need support and backup and encouragement, you know, and that's what's a bit thin on the ground. Because we've teamed up with so many other charities and they're, you know, in similar ways. The podcast has brought me into a lot because I spot people who I'm interested in and just have them on as a guest. It's pretty eclectic, my podcast. You know, I go from, you know, my old kickboxing teacher to a bee specialist, a beekeeper, you know, to Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, to, as we know, Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York. And, you know, it's very eclectic, but they're always people that I find interesting. So this is, I mean, whether anyone listens, I don't know, but this is for me. I've learned so much, you know.
It's about that networking, isn't it? And just finding good people doing good things and then coming together and doing something, and the impact that can create, which I think is excellent. And I mean, looking at your donation stuff with corporates, there'll be so many companies, I'm sure, who once they see that impact and how much your one haircut makes an impact on that individual, I mean, you don't even have to put words into, you can't put words into that, can you?
No. And there's a great little mini video, I think I might have sent it to you, that's it was a 20-minute documentary they made, but it's a little 60-second intro to it. And Simon Emmett, the documentary maker, he managed to capture everything in that 60 seconds. It's so powerful. You know? And I do a little bit of, sometimes I do a little bit of speaking, you know, like I speak at events sometimes, and I don't have to introduce anything. That 60 seconds, you start with that, you've got people on site because you don't have to explain anything, you know.
Does it all?
And then, it's quite simple, I find, to do that after.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah.
So it's an exciting road ahead after last
year. Yeah. Oh yeah. We're like, I'm going nowhere. You know, I'm this is me the rest of my life. You know, please God, it's a long one. And then, you know, because I've got shit to do. You know, there's so much to do, isn't there? You know, and there's, you know, I always got the energy to do it. But you guys, so what's the future now? Then I know that you want to go into space, but what's the stepping stone? What's before that?
So future now is the next step for us is we have our plastic swap shop, which is essentially we started the business to be able to set up these recycling facilities in the developing world. We want to try and find a way to utilize that plastic. There's so much of it out there. How can we utilize that in a positive way in these communities that have got nothing? So we have plastic swap shop with Humanitas. So we're just currently trying to fund for that.
We want to carry on with the educational side, so we also deliver educational workshops to primary schools across the world. So we want to continue to do that. It's a big pillar to our business, actually.
Yeah, and then the other pillar is our community cleanup. So we organise big community litter picks where people come down, and we're able to. We did our first one 2 weeks ago since lockdown, really. So, well, since COVID, and we had 55 people turn up, which was incredible.
Yeah, of all ages, it's brilliant.
And it's with the litter picks and the cleanups, it's that understanding that people just simple fact of looking after your local community, going out, spending half hour and picking up litter in your local community is quite powerful, especially when people think, oh, I live just outside London, there's not going to be much plastic. You've only got to put your head in the bush, and it's horrible. So yeah, that's a big push for us. And then I think we want to bring out some more products. That's another goal. So we'll slowly bring out more sustainable products, and try and replicate our plastic swap shops. That's our thing. So we can go to any developing community around the world, and we've got a system where we can utilize that plastic.
Yeah. I mean, I say we, but I'm drawn to it all now as well. So like you guys is right up my street. We work with Green Salon Collective. They collect all the hair from salons now. They're growing and growing really fast. And they turn it into buoys, like it soaks the oil up from oil spill.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and they recycle all the oil, the aluminium from the hair foils, and all the, and which I never thought of. They recycle all the used tin, because as a salon owner, it used to drive me mad, because they'd mix a big pot of tin and use a little bit of it, and it'd all go down the sink. Well, all this sort of chemicals are all going down the sink. So they've got an amnesty bin for all of that stuff now.
Brilliant.
And and we use Simply Dry towels. They're bamboo towels.
Yeah.
So it's as much as possible that you can do. I've been really interested as well that from the British Beauty Council, there's the tampons and things. They've got bamboo tampons and stuff as well, because it's a big thing for us, because we come across period poverty. It's another thing.
Yeah.
And the homeless thing, like people haven't got the money for feminine hygiene products and things like that.
Definitely.
We often say, look, it's great to buy a tea or coffee, buy them a clean pair of drawers to put on.
We want to have a big push on as well, because periods is one, it's just such a taboo subject. So one, nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
And two, there's so much single-use plastics involved in it, which is just ending up in our oceans. So
yeah.
There's so much that we want to tackle on that front as well.
Yeah, Rebecca's been working with Humanitas actually on a women's hygiene program for Ghana, because obviously, if you think in Ghana, they don't. It's just not even a thing to do. And what I know that it's a big push with the United Nations at the moment of, especially in developing communities, the fact that with having access to feminine hygiene products, it keeps girls in school. And then with the keeping girls in school, they've got a more of an opportunity to go into work and then not just be stay at home and then have teenage pregnancy, which is obviously increasing population, which has a bigger impact on the global issue around climate change and everything. So it's
we aim to teach the girls and the boys how to sew sanitary items in Ghana, which they'll learn about periods, and they'll learn how to sew as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it just gets better and better, doesn't it? It's like, I love all this stuff, and it's refreshing. I know I go on about age a bit, but it's the young people of today are thinking about tomorrow, and I find as an old fart, I find that really refreshing, and we've all got a lot to learn from it.
Yeah, and I think, but I don't think it's not. We have so much knowledge at our fingertips these days.
Yeah,
and that's what it is. And you can find anything out in less than a couple of seconds. And I think that's what's so great about the younger generation, even young, like my teenage brother. They have got so much.
Yeah.
They're involved with everything. They know so much that's going on in comparison to what I did when I was 15 years younger. So and I guess that hopefully that will continue, and hopefully the youngsters will continue to try and do good for the planet and people.
Yeah. Oh, well, the thing is, all we can do, you know, I try and be better than my old man was. You know, I hope my kids turn out a bit better than I am. And so it goes. And in that way, hopefully, we can build a better future. But thank you so much for your time. I've really loved this. So I'm sure we'll be doing a lot more in the future. I'd love you both to come along, you know, when we've got haircuts from us where you are. Where are you based again? Where do you live?
Kitchen.
Where is that?
Just north of, it's 20 minutes north of King's Cross on the
right.
line. So this is Stevenage. So no Stevenage.
Right, yeah. Well, we're spreading out and out all the time, you know.
Yeah, Stuart, there is. I think I mentioned it when we said before. There's a brilliant small charity, homeless charity, based in Hitchin called Feed Up Warm Up, and they do amazing work. And I'd love to get you connected with them.
Oh, we'll come and cut hair there. What we'll do after this is all finished, obviously send me the links, everything you want, but send me that link as well.
Yeah.
And I'll get onto them. But you have to remind me because it's. I took a few blows to the head in the car, so you know.
Yes. Shane, who runs it, he's a pretty inspirational fella himself. I think he was homeless for a while and then understood that people out there need people, and so he set up this shelter where it brings the community together. So it's excellent.
Yeah, we'll be there. Honestly, I promise you that.
Thank you so much, Stuart.
Well, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Onwards and upwards, even to the stars. I'm sure you're going to get there. Let's get Richard on board and get him up. Get you up
on this podcast.
Yeah. Let's hope so. Right. See you all soon. Take care.
All right then.
Cheers.